Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Hey there, if you're seeing this, you're watching my very first video. Alright, now let's start the story.
Pouring. This radio station reports. From yesterday began a vigorous weather of rainfall, expected to persist for about a week. The meteorology branch has already issued a yellow weather alert for the rainstorm, which could very well escalate to red. Such heavy rain. I fear today could be another day without guests. But what if someone forgot to bring an umbrella along in this rain? Would they happen to need a place of shelter during this storm? Well, aren't I a charitable person? I just hope this romantic little act of goodwill can bring me income. No, this should be what's known as the customer's reciprocity. I just hope this romantic little act of goodwill can bring me income. No, this should be what's known as the customer's reciprocity. Naturally, if the guests are moved by my kindness and hospitality, they could make the most of it and maybe purchase a book or two. Just wonderful. Ha! Ha! Anahanatan. Anahanatan. Ha! Tech. Ah. What? Tech. It's finally settled, damn. This condition OF3TO for broken ribs isn't a major concern. But even with how this filthy blood affects me, self-healing should take at least an hour. If I can't find a place to hide, then I could be in danger. Retracts. Time. I need time. What? A bookstore? Is it a coincidence? Or a trap? IT can't be helped. I need to secure enough time to hide as soon as possible. Put all things aside and go in first. TCH. Welcome. So IT wasn't in vain that I spent so much time waiting. For a beautiful guest has braved the rain rush over. Oh, no matter which aspect you're seeing it from. This guest is packed with stories, AH. MHM. This should bring the pyramid selling of Lin Jie into play. No, start by discussing therapeutics. I placed a hot towel there. Now can you wipe the rain a little, or do you need central heating? So much time waiting? And he has everything that I need prepared. The average bookstore isn't so stocked. Is it Secret Right Tower? Or the Truth Union? Maybe one of Walpurgis Anointed? Jijishio became more vigilant than ever. She discreetly moved her finger toward the button that activated the black cane's mechanism. As soon as the young man made a move, the cane would morph into a killing blade that pierces through his skull. You were waiting for me? The hunter probed. Lin Jie answered with a kind smile, yes. I've always thought that fate works in miraculous ways, how it brings two complete strangers together in the least expected way. He gestured toward the counter and continued, feel free to use the towel there to wipe yourself dry. Don't worry, it's unused. Would you like me to turn on the heater? Jijishio picked up the towel hesitantly and shook her head. It's fine. Taking a closer look at his customer, Lin Jie noticed her tightly creased brows. Referencing from past experiences, he surmised that this person might be facing a predicament in his life. Thus, he cleared his throat and asked, from the look of things, you seem to have encountered some trouble. Jijishio steeled her resolve and took a deep breath. What should I do? Since they have acted inhumanely, there's no need to uphold civility with them. You can deal with them the exact same way they dealt with you. A tooth for a tooth, an eye for an eye. Replied Lin Jie. He didn't dish out the usual chicken soup that numbed one's soul. Otherwise, she would be led astray, making it difficult to retain her as a regular. When faced with scumbags, one ought to retaliate with a heavy blow. His customer appeared to be in a bewildered state at the moment, but as long as he pointed out a path for her, she would be able to free herself from confusion and take action. The disposition of a magician indeed. Ji Jixio opened up her other palm, which was hidden under the table. It was covered with blood. Her lips moved slightly. Casting aside my humanity? She was neither prepared nor resolved to go that far yet. You need to ascertain your thoughts and intentions first. Only then can you prepare yourself properly. Lin Jie calmly gazed at the now pensive lady with a smile. I think you might need this book. The time was ripe for Lin Jie to show his hand, and he smoothly directed the conversation toward his wares. Given the atmosphere, it didn't seem wise for him to pick out a book from the shelves behind him. That would make his intention too obvious. So, he slid the book he was reading over, Confessions. Ji Jixio received it over with a blank look on her face. There were 3 words written on the cover: Blood and Beast. She had read a lot of books over the course of her life, but she had never seen this book before. Was it written by an obscure writer? Furthermore, why had she been given this book? With a slight frown, Ji Jixio flipped the book open hesitantly. A moment later, her pupils shrunk and her expression changed. The page was filled with ancient characters densely packed together. These ancient characters warped, combined, and fluctuated all the time. No 2 lines of characters were the same, but they strung together to form meaningful sentences. Each and every one of these characters could form thousands of words. This is taboo knowledge. The hunter's face was pale and her body trembled. The information contained within was terrifying and it made her nauseated. She immediately closed the book, and it took her a great effort to regulate her breathing. A message had already been etched inside her terrified mind. Ji Jixio nearly shot right up from her seat out of shock, but she managed to restrain her impulse at the final moment. These words were so firmly etched in her mind as if they had been there all this while. She wondered if this searing pain was something one would feel when being branded. Beast transformation, drawing power from blood, and using blood to control. Ji Jixio's eyelids twitched as she held the book with hands trembling in trepidation. What exactly was this? Hunters drew their strength from the sordid blood of dream beasts. Through injecting themselves with a drug made out of sordid blood, they could gain a portion of the power of the abyss. However, such an act was extremely dangerous, and there was a high chance of dying on the first injection. This eventually became known as the threshold for becoming a hunter. On top of that, if the dosage exceeded a certain limit, the hunter would be unable to control the devastating prowess of the sordid blood in his body and become infected, leading to the occurrence of a certain phenomenon. It was true that Ji Jixio had considered casting aside her humanity to undergo a second injection so as to gain the power needed to exact vengeance, but she had never thought that this mysterious bookstore owner would actually give her the method to control sordid blood. This meant that she would be able to control her beast mutation, a problem which neither hunters nor magicians had been able to solve since ancient times. Confessions. Sensing the blood in her body slowly coming under her control, Ji Jixio's raspy voice quivered in a mixture of excitement and agitation as she asked, "Is this what you want me to do?" The man standing before her was a real madman. An unbelievably powerful one at that. After a long time, Jin Jixio put down the book and picked up the cup earnestly. She smiled and nodded prudently in response. "Thank you for your guidance. I will comply with your wishes." Lin Jie had just taken a sip when he noticed Jin Jixio's actions and froze up. Did she just gulp down the entire cup of tea? That was just a symbolic gesture. I just wanted her to have some hot tea to warm herself up. Lin Jie put down his cup uneasily. He hesitated for a brief moment, but he decided to ask it in the end, "Do you need to head to the hospital?" Ji Jixio shook her head. "Thank you for your concern, I'm fine." Most of her wounds had already healed up during the exchange. This was the power of sordid blood. All right then. Since she's already said so, I'll just assume that she's fine. After all, she wouldn't have been able to continue speaking so casually with me if she had really been scalded. Would you like to rest a little longer? Lin Jie brought out a black umbrella from beneath the counter and shook it. It's unfortunate that my cramped bookstore doesn't have much space, so I can only keep you here till tonight. Here's an umbrella. You can take it along with the book. The due date for returning the book is a month with a maximum extension of another 7 days. Remember to bring the umbrella along with you when you drop by to return the book. Furthermore, I have only topped it up moments ago. It must have still been boiling hot. Jijishio assumed that Lin Jie was unwilling to divulge his identity, but she wasn't disappointed by his response. On the contrary, she felt a surge of anticipation. She thought that this was a trial, and that she had to prove herself worthy. She needed to use her own strength to get rid of all of the traitors and return within the stipulated deadline of 1 month. And after that, she would be able to seek out the next step. Jijishio took 2 steps back from the counter. With the cane tucked under her armpit and the book and the umbrella in each of her hands, she bowed deeply. Well then, have a good night. Lin Jie scratched his head. Well, she's an affluent young missy after all, but such etiquette is still a little too exaggerated. Jijishio exhaled deeply before rising back up. She walked out of the store, closed the door, opened the umbrella, and walked into the rain. But all of a sudden, her entire body went on high alert as she grasped her cane, ready to activate its mechanism at any moment. A stooped old man with an umbrella was walking towards her. He was holding a book in hand.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe for more.